Been a tough year for local charities. Fundraising is one of the areas that's been hardest hit by the pandemic.
Sure has, and so many local organizations depend on donations to do what they do. KCTV5's Amy Anderson found out how the pandemic is affecting their bottom lines.
From puppies to playgrounds, Kansas City is rich with charitable organizations to help those in need. But thanks to the pandemic, they are suffering.
Then all of our fundraisers got canceled. So economically, it was devastating to us as a small charity.
Variety KC provides children with developmental disabilities adaptive equipment and opportunities they need for inclusion. Executive Director Deborah Wiebrick says parents started reaching out right away when schools shut down and playgrounds closed.
COVID has really been a double whammy for us because at first we represent kids with high risk, so they're very vulnerable, and we had to right away provide them with the tools and support they needed.
The kids needed iPads to connect with others and adaptive bikes so they could get outside and play during the shutdown. More than anything, Wiebrick feared turning any family away, especially during a pandemic.
I've worked harder this year than I've worked any other year because of the need of our families, and because our funding is so low, we have to figure out alternative ways to make sure that we've got funds, because when a family reaches out their hand for help, it's humbling and they really need it. And for us to say no I just can't do that.
Another organization that never wants to turn anyone away, Hope House. For decades, they've provided emergency shelter and services to women and children who are victims of domestic violence. They too are feeling the pinch, and it's coming at a time when they've had to change the way they do everything.
The health department came in as soon as that shutdown order, came out and said, oh, no, you have to do this very differently. I mean, we had 64 people in one shelter and 58 in the other, and we could not do that.
Women and children are now housed in hotels. Those in the shelters are socially distanced, with everyone required to use PPE. Couple all of that with the fact the incidence rate for domestic violence is soaring and more dangerous than ever.
The abuse that people are experiencing has just been really severe, and the injuries that they're reporting and that they're experiencing have just been so severe. And so that just really has said to us, we really need to make sure that we can be here to provide services, because people are in great need right now.
Hope House operates on a $6 million budget they've had to raise every year. Right now, they're asking for cash donations and donations of new clothing and toys to add to their holiday store so mothers and children can shop for Christmas gifts this month.
The thing that we've really realized as an industry throughout the pandemic is that the things that affect people also affect their pets.
KC Pet Project is also seeing a big shift in what people need from them as well. No longer is it just a place to adopt a new furry family member, but it's also a place people are turning to out of desperation during the pandemic.
So we're seeing more and more pets that are coming in because of financial hardships that families are going through. Maybe they're moving and they can't take their pet with them. We have seen people that their entire family is sick with COVID and they don't really know what to do with their pet. And so we've started doing things like temporary fostering to help families stay together, to keep pets and people together.
Fugate says the last thing the shelter wants is to see a family going through a rough patch, forced to surrender a dog or cat that brings so much happiness. It is because of stories like these that they launched Keep Them Together KC.
It keeps families together. So when a family comes to us and says, I have to give up my beloved pet for this reason, we can say, we have these resources to be able to offer so that you and your pet can stay together. Because the last thing that we want to do is break up a family.
And now that they've taken over for animal control, they are out in the community offering food, straw, and shelter to animals who are suffering because their families are suffering. Fugate says the goal is to become an automatic resource for people in Kansas City. These three organizations all rely on donations to fill the needs of people here at home, and they're doing what everyone else is being forced to do, adjust to a situation no one has ever dealt with before. In Kansas City, Amy Anderson, KCTV5 News.